The church to which you and I belong was already called in God before the foundations. And the word foundation can be translated overthrow. And perhaps that's the most accurate way in working it, before the overthrow. So, and this is easy for me to understand because God is all-wise. Omniscient, I guess, is a theological term, big word, which simply means he's all-wise. And being all-wise, he called the church, saw it as the greatness before the foundation. Because nothing has ever equaled the church of the mystery to which you and I belong. There's only one greater thing coming, and that's the return, the gathering together, when we are totally made like Jesus Christ. As he is, so we are, and will be like as he is. Outside of that, the body of the mystery, the church of the mystery to which you and I belong, which again, we've been pretty well talked out of because so-called Christianity, for the most part, has not really been the great truth of Christianity, where it told you how wonderful a person you really were because you had Christ in you. Just imagine, you see, Christ in you, the hope of glory, Christ in each believer. And it just, if I'd have been the devil, I'd have destroyed it the same way he did. You know, I'd attack on people and get it out that they never knew who they really were with Christ in them. But in God's sight, this is the greatest thing he could ever do. That's why he did it before the foundation of the world, seeing this and getting it accomplished. And I was also thinking how not only do men always drive people down and make them negative and get rid of, like the great mystery of the body of the oneness with Christ in us, and that we are joint heirs, fellow heirs with Christ. They do the same with all language. And I've traced some of the things in the Word, not all of them, but when I see them, I sort of mark them at times. But everything man touches in the Word, he'll always degrade. He'll take a word that has a tremendous biblical meaning, and man will take that and bring it down to his level when it doesn't have that great meaning. I was thinking of the word prevent. You know, tonight is God's call, love, and hope, you know. Hope deals with the return of Christ. And that word prevent appears in the context of that truth. And the word prevent in the Bible simply means to go before. But man has brought it down. When you prevent someone, it means to hinder someone. That's not its biblical meaning at all. It means to go before. But in the usage and that man has put to the word, to prevent today means to hinder. I think I taught you this in the foundational class already, if I remember correctly. See? And there's the word apology. Apologia is the Greek word that's used. It simply means a positive defense. Today, the word apology means an excuse. That's what man has brought it to. I apologize to you is the way we use it because it's an excuse for my having done something to you I shouldn't have done, so I have to apologize. But that's not its biblical meaning. Also, the word censure in the Bible means to judge, proper judgment. Today, the word censure means blame. When someone is censured, they're blamed. See, that's how whenever man gets himself involved in the greatness of God's Word, unless he really is walking for God, he'll always, the natural man, the senses, knowledge man, will always bring God's word down. Never lifts it up. Always less than what the word sets it at. Another great one is the word story. Story, S-T-O-R-Y, is an abbreviation of the word history. It's a shortening of the word history. And because man was screwing it up all the time and he wasn't telling the truth, that's why they shortened the word history to story, and that's why when a man tells a story today, it's not true. That's the essence of the word story. Cunning is another word that's used. The word cunning in the Bible means to be knowledgeable of. To really know you're a cunning person means to be knowledgeable of. Today, the word cunning means trickery. If someone's cunning, he's real tricky. Subtle is another word used. The word subtle in the Bible is to be real finely attuned, to be very accurate. But in our usage today, when somebody is subtle, he is sly, tricky. Villain is a dandy, too, that man has worked on. A villain originally was the servant of a villa, V-I-L-L-A, or a country, or a house. In other words, he was the top person, very highly recognized. Today, of course, you know what a villain is. They brought it down to that level. Parasite is another word. These are just interesting how people have taken words and how they've lowered their meaning. A parasite, the word parasite was the name that was given to the sacred granaries that the government set up, like under Joseph. Remember when he was put in charge of all the food of Egypt? He had to put it in storage. And the word storage is the word granary. And then the root of that word granary is parasite. That's the root word. And only the most honorable men were referred to as parasites. Because they were in charge of the granary. And they had to dispense the food like Joseph. Remember, Pharaoh said, nobody gets anything unless Joseph says, unlock it. A very high position of responsibility and respect. They were men of great integrity and very honorable. And it is off of that word also that we got the word office. As a parasite, office. I guess you work off of the table, parasite. The government, really this is how it got to be. They set up an office for the parasite because he had to keep a record of all the grain and who got it and so forth. And because he kept that record on a table, therefore the word table and office both come from the word parasite. Today you know what a parasite means. Somebody who lives off of somebody else without doing anything about it, I guess, and still tries to look beautiful like those flowers you women wear on special occasions when you have long dresses on and white gloves. What do you call them?
Corsages?
No, I know it. Corsage. No, it's a flower. Orchid, right. It's a parasite, I guess.